As cars roll here in California, that beautiful introductory piece there, you heard the words of the newly crowned two-time champion Alex Palou, said, let's finish strong. And what a great theme that is here for the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey as we welcome you to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Happy Friday, wherever you're watching. What a great way to finish the week off and start the racing weekend as 27 INDYCARs fire into life and get ready to go around this world-renowned circuit that has been repaved. Yes, that's going to be a huge talking point for us today and over the next 2 days. Good afternoon, folks. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe with you here in the booth. We welcome Marty Snyder back from his NASCAR duties, his regular workload, to come back and play with us here on the INDYCAR side one last time for 2023. Kevin Lee and Dylan Welsh, we are ready to go, and a new look at the blacktop.
And black indeed it is. It's such a stark contrast to what we've seen for the last 10 or 15 years here. Even right here in the corkscrew, if you look at some of the old pavement that was laid down many years ago, that's what color the racetrack used to be. But this massive repaving along with the new bridge across the front straightaway and a whole host of other upgrades here at Laguna Seca Raceway, it is a dramatic difference. I mean, that's Sharpie black right there. It's pretty cool. Well, we've used a granola bar in the past. If this might have to be Velcro this weekend, as the surface is yielding lap times that are shockingly fast. Full day test session took place here yesterday. Will Power was the quickest at a 107.2. That is a full 0.6 faster than the outright qualifying record here at Laguna Seca, set by Gilles de Ferran back in 2000.
T-Bell, this man we ride with, Pato Award, right here. Turn 9, rainy curve. He said when they go into the alternate tires, they're going to be flat out through there.
Well,
are you kidding?
That's the best guess. I'll believe it when I see it. But one thing's for sure, they are hustling. Remember, 2.2-mile racetrack. So in very rough terms, if they're 4+ seconds faster in practice, that'd be like going 8 seconds quicker at Road America. It's a massive change in performance. Indy Next just had a practice session. Their quickest time would have been 1.5 seconds faster than the fastest IndyCar race lap last year.
Kevin, it's the final start as a full-time IndyCar driver for Helio Castroneves this weekend. He'll move to more of a managerial role with Meyer-Shank Racing next year as a new part-time owner and a minority stake capacity with that race team. Talked to him before he climbed in the car. Said it's a little bit bittersweet. You always like to race a little bit more. He'll, of course, be in the car for the Indianapolis 500 for the foreseeable future, but not going to be racing in IndyCar near as much as he has the past couple of years. So that part of it's a bummer, but he said, I'm excited about the future of this race team. Can't wait to get more involved and just help this team grow. So excited about what's to come despite not racing as much as he'd like to. By the way, he does hold the track record here in Laguna with the unofficial fastest lap and said, I sure hope that nobody goes faster than that. I'd sure like to have that on my mantle for at least a couple more years as the track record holder here.
It's going to be one of those weekends. So much going on. Big speed, big commitment, driver announcements, driver farewells. It'll be a season finale to remember for sure.
Great work there from our NBC Sports team, has been all season. Working the cameras, trying to find you some insights during practice. I see some marbles already starting to accumulate there just inside the apex curve. And that's going to be something I'm curious about. Will we see more tire deg? It doesn't seem like it because the forces going through the tire are significantly higher. But I think it's a pretty good lesson that the deg is probably coming from abrasion in terms of a gritty surface, and when it's smooth and new like this, it just lasts longer.
See on the left-hand side there, you see thank you Fro, and what that is all about is this is the final race in Arrow McLaren colours for Felix Rosenqvist, but it's most certainly not his last IndyCar race. Kevin Lee caught up with Felix Rosenqvist before he climbed aboard the car.
And from everything I was hearing, there were a few options for you for next season. So ultimately, why did you settle on Meyer-Shank?
Well, I think Meyer-Shank has a lot of potential, unlocked potential. I think we saw when Linus jumped in for 2 races that there was a lot of speed there, and I think that's what we've all been kind of thinking, that was the potential that we all thought was there. So. And I think they have a lot of good stuff down the line as well, a couple of years ahead, and that's kind of what got me attracted to it. And I mean, I love Mike and Jim. I think they're great people, and the short time I got to work with them, or to I've been talking to them obviously quite a bit the last couple of weeks, and I think they're awesome, and they're honest, good people, and I love to be a part of it.
It's not always when someone can announce they're leaving a team before a season is over, but there seems to be no hurt feelings. What does that signify about the relationship here with McLaren?
I think we're adults. We know. I mean, I understand that they wanted to move on, and I think they understand my point of view as well. I think we both wanted better results, but at the end of the day, they didn't happen for various reasons, and it doesn't mean we don't like each other. I love this team. There's a lot of people here that are very good friends to me, and I wish nothing but the best for this team. So. But yeah, it's business, Sometimes you have to make a change or a move, and I respect that, and I think they respect my decision, and there's still a lot of love there.
Thank you, Felix. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hench, talk us through this. Happened just a couple of minutes ago with Callum Ilott.
Yes, we're watching him on track now, but a little bit off track earlier. This is turn 6, just loses the back end on entry. This is an incredibly quick corner. It takes so much commitment on entry. The turn in is blind. It dips down, and for him to keep it out of the tires only just Townsend. That was so close. Many a car has found itself in the turn 6 tire wall. But not for Callum, not today.
And as we see Christian Lundgaard dropping rocks everywhere, he must have been off somewhere, maybe turn 6 as well. But in that corner, you have to keep your eyes high. That's what's so important, is to not look at the wall that you're worried about hitting, but look as far up the hill as you can at that narrow little gap of steering it out, and be disciplined with your feet. Callum Ilott just getting it right. Let's take a look at what happened to the number 45 Hy-Vee car. This is corkscrew he went off.
Just big lockup of the right front there, and yeah, kind of classic move there.
Oh. Classic Zanardi move.
That was rough. What's the re-entry?
Front end just digs in there.
Ooh. When Zanardi made his famous pass, this gravel wasn't there. It was kind of sand. Ooh, that final digger.
That was rough. Caught the end of the curb, too.
And I mean, that's something that's going to happen, in practice, probably in qualifying, definitely in the race. You might want to think about that. If you're a driver, you got to look and see that, and maybe make more of an effort to turn a little bit right, try to hit that angle less head on, because that wouldn't have tickled there for Lundgaard.
So the news keeps on coming thick and fast, as it always does towards the end of a season, no matter what sport you're in, and it happens here in the NTT IndyCar Series with confirmation of where this young man from Chicago, Illinois is going. David Malukas will no longer be a Dale Coyne racer with HMD Motorsports. Next year, he is off to the Arrow McLaren organization, and before he strapped in, he caught up with Dylan Welch.
Announced today as the newest driver at Arrow McLaren starting in 2024, and for the first time in your career you're a hired gun. You're hired to go drive a race car. So what's the significance of that to you in your career at this point?
It means a lot, man. It's been a long journey to get to this point. I've with my parents and everything, we've worked so hard, and this was like a dream of mine since I was a kid. I watched it on TV, and now it's like with McLaren, it's like I'm still pinching myself. I can't believe this is actually happening. It means so much. So, but it's just getting started. It's a lot more pressure. We have to make sure that we're a top contender, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to try every single bit to get it up there.
Why was this team ultimately the right fit for you?
I mean, they've been at the heels of Penske and Chip this whole time, and they're very new to the scene. And Gavin and Zach told me their future plans and the environment and the culture and the people that they kind of are connecting, and it was an environment that I really wanted to be a part of. It sounded incredible, and man, I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Exciting things in the future for David Malukas. He's got one more race with Dale Coyne Racing to finish out 2023.
That is awesome news for him. Great to see how fired up he is.
Yeah, there was a lot of complaining on the radio.
Oi, Will Power.
Off at the exit of 10, and you got a pit wall just in front of you there. If you don't get that thing back on the pavement, that's dicey for Will Power.
See how much dirt and rocks have been kicked on the track from guys dropping wheels in 11 there?
We don't get marbles, but we have gravel.
Oh, that's
a big
4.
hit for Roman Grosjean in the number 28 DHL car.
Same spot as Alex Palou yesterday, exit of turn 4.
Lost the rear on entry for some reason. Been very strange.
Lost the rear on entry. I mean, there is a curb on entry there that a lot of drivers are kind of dipping their left side tires onto just to open up the radius there. Sometimes you can go a little bit too far. But we'll try to get a replay of what happened there. But yeah, that's a big hit. Unfortunate break there for Grosjean.
And that is very similar to what Alex Palou told us about his crash yesterday. Lost the rear on entry. Let's have a look at what happened to the Andretti Autosport driver.
Oh, that's a good size hit. I mean, I don't think he dropped wheels. I think it's just like we've discussed, like we saw yesterday, we saw at Road America, if you're just a tiny, tiny bit outside the width of an IndyCar on the racing line, the grip level is just so low right now with this repave.
I have to say, though, I don't think he was offline.
I thought he looked a little bit wide. Maybe didn't get all the way to the apex curb.
Looked like everything was normal, and I don't know, we could look at it another time, but maybe we'd look at it slow-mo, but...
So you got to look for that right front to get all the way to that yellow apex curb, and it's before he even gets there, it starts to go.
You're right.
It's just it's a tiny bit.
Right, yeah. It's just out of the groove. It's 100% that Road America situation.
Great job getting his hands off the wheel just at the last minute there. That could have been a big issue.
Well, Romain Grosjean is out of the infield medical center, so we saw the replay, but how quickly did the car just swap ends on you?
Very, very quickly. Lost the rear end completely. No real explanation.
How difficult is this racing surface? How precise do you have to be just to make sure you stay online to prevent something like that happening?
I don't think I was offline. That's a phone. So just gonna have a look and understand. That's why I want to go and see Olivier.
All right, he'll go back and check the replay, but definitely not the good start to the weekend that they were hoping.
Okay, let's take you back. Let's go on board the MyJack Honda for Rahal Letterman Lanigan, Yuri Vips. Have a listen. See if you can hear what happens when it happens.
Next phase. Stay low throttle. We got a box or something with the engine. Okay. Shut it off. Go ahead and shut it off. Okay. Shut the engine off. Just pull off the track there. Don't pull into the gravel. Just pull offline.
Little bit further up the Rahal straight, he would have been able to coast all the way back to pit lane.
Yeah, but huge call from the team to make that message with urgency and potentially save Dylan the racetrack from getting oiled up and some catastrophic failure perhaps at the back of the car.
Yeah, absolutely, and there was no failure. It was just basically the timing stand seeing something they didn't like and telling him to shut it off. So they did just come on the radio and ask Yuri if he can put the car in neutral and coast down the hill, which you see him doing right now. So he'll need maybe a little more speed to get all the way back and around to pit road, but no failure of any kind just yet. Just saw something on the data they didn't like and told him to shut it off.
You know, every timing stand has a tech from the respective manufacturers monitoring everything on those engines, and yeah, it's usually a call from them. They'll see something they don't like, you know, they'll be briefed on any signs of a potential problem coming and just say to the strategist, whoever's on the radio, shut it off, shut it down. We're going to stop a blow up from happening, basically. It's going to be interesting. Open the door up. Oh, you see that's down in turn 2. Scott McLaughlin beached in the gravel. Again, I wonder if we just see a little bit offline, kind of at turn in, under braking, losing the back of the car.
Feels like they've brought in more gravel this year with the repave. It's a lot deeper. I mean, it used to really just be dirt out there.
Lost the rears big time, says Scotty Mack.
It's a cool shot. So you see the shadow of the AMR safety truck coming up to drag the 3 machine. XPEL colors this weekend for McLaughlin. Sitting 13th on the time charts right now. Was 3rd yesterday in the test. And a little bit off his teammate Will Power, who paced the test yesterday. Let's take a look, T-Bow. Oh, wow. Early. Real early.
Well, didn't see the start of it. I can only think he just went hero deep. Let's watch and listen. I wonder if his right rear was on the painted line, and that's what kicked him out.
On that curve again, maybe as well. Just you can tell as soon as he hit the brakes, the engine noise just dies as the rears lock up. Gravel doing its job, slowing the car down, keeping it nice and far away from the tire barrier, no damage.
So as we show you the onboard one more time.
Just watch this right side get to the painted white line there.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you know, with every repave comes fresh paint, and it didn't look like there was any rubber there yet.
Because even just past that white line was some of that gray older tarmac that you were talking about at the that you pointed out on the apex of the corkscrew there. And yeah, I wonder again if just the delta between the old pavement and the new pavement could have played a part in that.
What were your distractions?
PNC Bank Honda off in the gravel.
Turn 6 again. We saw that close escape there with Callum Ilott. Probably a very similar deal from Scott Dixon. These entries are just a challenge, Townsend, it looks like, with, again, whether it's the curbs, whether it's the paint. These cars seem very nervous on the way in.
Wow. I think Marty said it best there, that it asks for more and you keep giving it until all of a sudden you've gone too far. Marty, it reminds me of a Thursday afternoon wine tasting here in Northern California.
Here's Kyle Kirkwood.
Keep working them, keep heating them up.
Yeah, see, that's I was just going to say, I'm really curious to see what lap guys get the peak performance out of these reds on. Normally, it's one and done, maybe a second lap, especially here at Old Laguna. Oh,
someone's off in 6, big time. Backwards.
I say that's the back of a car. Looks like it's
a
one of the
Hugo's
rookies.
Hollinger.
Is that Canapino maybe? Because I think I see.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. So that's going to bring out a red.
He's still running, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. Oh, he's just shut it off.
So that brings out a red as everyone's just out on the red tires for the first time. He looks like he managed to avoid hitting anything, though, that's not easy to do in 6, to spin around and not make contact.
That's what we call the Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Remember when Jimmy would spin and he had this uncanny knack of not hitting anything? Here's Augustine Canapino. Now, that's eerily similar to what happened to Dixon, but he just lost it in a more dramatic way. Scott was able to save his.
Looked like Canapino's kind of came undone at the compression right at the apex of 6 when it squatted. Let's listen, watch for this. Happened earlier.
Yeah, he just had 2 corrections, actually.
It was an initial tail wag on entry.
And then just overcorrected, got into the dirt.
Got to think the rears maybe weren't quite ready yet.
Well, again, that's what we just heard, that radio message to Kyle Kirkwood saying, keep working them, keep trying to get temp in them, which, again, is not something you usually struggle with on the reds.
So watch this initial. He's going to make a right-hand down correction, then gets back in. So
there's 2. And then a 30, the back's still going, and then as soon as he hits that paint, because he was already a little loose there.
Had a tank slapper dip.
Sure did. Can I just tell you about another storyline that's going on this weekend as everyone builds up to speed here? There is a fiercely tight battle going on between the 2 engine manufacturers in the NTT IndyCar Series. Honda leads Chevrolet, Hinch, by just 16 points. This has been an awesome battle this year. There are so many key people in Detroit for Chevrolet, in Japan, and here in California for Honda. There is a lot riding on this weekend. There is a lot of pride at stake. There is a lot of R&D that go into this. And so for that to be separated by just 16 points, this is awesome between the 2 engine manufacturers in IndyCar. Wishing them both the best for Sunday's race.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, as you say, a huge point of pride. There's a just tremendous amount of effort as we see more dust in turn 4. Did someone make it all the way?
Damage to the left rear.
Yeah, that's willpower.
The number 12 Verizon car is jacked up.
That was the fastest car in the test yesterday.
Is this a window into the weekend's Firestone Grand Prix?
Don't want to damage the floor, man. It doesn't feel good. I think I have to stop.
Yep, it doesn't look good either, Will.
I don't know if Pato Award's going to get to the timing line. The red comes out.
Power's going to pull off the track there, Townsend. Yes, I was getting ready to say he's not going to make it back to pit road.
Frustrating for guys like Pato. He was a corner away from making it to alt start finish for that lap to count.
What's this? Fourth red?
I've lost track.
I think it is.
I think fifth.
Not a laughing matter
So
for
fifth.
Will Power.
Thanks, Russ. And then you add to what, 11 yesterday, 16 red flags.
Yeah, so what kind of race is this going to be Sunday? It's going to be crazy.
Why do I feel like every time we say this, we end up getting to the qualifying and there's no issues, and then the race and it runs all green?
Well, I think this speaks to the statistics on this racetrack and this IndyCar race, which is you got to start up front.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about, is everybody's trying to stitch together one magic lap. They'll worry about the race tomorrow after qualifying. That's a whole different deal. This is full-time attack mode.
To your point, 8 of the last 10 races here have been won from a front row starting position.
As the sun shines high in California after practice 1.
Well, we give you the results, but there's kind of like an asterisk there because we didn't get to see full-blooded attack mode on red on those softer compound Firestone tires.
But nothing unusual about Colton Hurd at the top of the charts at Laguna Seca. As we look further down, Tom Blomqvist, P11. That's an improvement. Nice to see the rookie showing his stuff at Laguna, track that he's been to quite a bit in sports car racing.
You see Ryan Hunter-Reay, nice improvement up there in 14th. McLaren's new signing, Malukas there in 15th. They have a couple of Penske's who haven't had a great day.
Christian Lundgaard almost certainly not able to get a lap in. He was second quick in the full test day yesterday. He turned 80 laps yesterday was Lundgaard.
What does IndyCar's newest driver, Yuri Vips, think about WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? Let's find out.
Yeah, and they had an abbreviated session, obviously, with that potential engine problem. But as you just said, you kind of got all the running that you needed to do out of the way early before all these reds. So how much more comfortable just in the car do you feel this weekend compared to 1 week ago when you were kind of in it for the first time?
Oh, it's a completely different story. You know, it's just having not raced all year, it's not just about IndyCars. Like any other series, I wasn't used to pushing the car around the track, you know, to its limits. So that was sort of the main thing last week, and just getting back up to speed, and obviously then, you know, just learning all the little bits with IndyCars as well, with like pit stops and overtake and so on, and learning the car. But, you know, jumping in for the test yesterday, I was already much more comfortable, and, you know, I think it's translating for today as well.
Nice start to the weekend. Yuri ends up 6th at the end of this first practice, Kevin.
So a good sign. Colton Herta has the fastest time of this session, and that was on the primaries. You were on a hot lap. Did you learn enough before it went red to see what is available on the reds?
Unfortunately not. You know, we only got an out lap there, and then I think power ended up in the wall and caused red flag. So we didn't get to do a proper run. I think some of the teammates did, which is a good thing for me at least to understand what they do and how we can make the car a little bit better. But it's really close. I feel really happy with how everything is. It's a good looking race car this weekend, and I hope to try to make it to victory lane with it.
It is an awesome-looking race car. We'll talk more about that as the weekend goes along. Marty.
Pato O'Ward got, I would say, 3.5 laps on the Reds. Was that enough to learn what they're going to be like tomorrow?
No, they weren't even in operating window temperatures. So it doesn't. They didn't. I mean, from the few corners that I did get, sort of at temp, it seemed fine. Slightly faster. I don't think it'll be a second faster than the black. I think it'll be maybe 5-6 tenths. So, yeah, it seemed all right. Not as big of a balance difference as usual. You know, maybe it changes whenever you actually are like in the lap, you know. But nah, it's all right. I was super happy with my black lap. So yeah, we're ready for tomorrow.
Pato, is there a way to describe how tough this racetrack is with the repavement behind the wheel? It's difficult. It seems like if you get offline, you're done.
Yeah, and it's so high commitment. I mean, if you get it just slightly wrong, as we've seen with quite a few cars, you're straight off. And it reminds me a lot of Barber, but there's less room for error, I'd say, slightly less. Not like Barber, there's a lot of room for mistakes, but I think this one will bite sooner. But it's physical, man. It is freaking physical. The race is gonna be gnarly.